Hi everybody! Today we're talking about dictionaries in Python. What they are and what we can use them for. And dictionaries, they are key value pairs in which you have a key value, and this key value is paired with a data structure. For example, in this case, our data or our key value is a string and our value is a number. And these dictionaries, they are denoted by a comma separated list of these key value pairs. And to define this variable temps dict as a dictionary, you have to remember these curly brackets. And in this case, we have a string, a key value for each day of the week from Monday through Sunday, and with corresponding temperatures. And if we define this, we run this cell by Control Enter, and we can see that the temps dictionary, the type of it, is indeed a dictionary class. We can find the length of a dictionary, in our case 7. This is the number of these key value pairs. And remember that the key and the value is separated by this colon. And if we want to print the entries in our dictionary, we can just print the dictionary variable. But if you would like to find exactly one entry or one value in your dictionary, you can access it by providing the name of the dictionary and the corresponding key value. So if you have the dictionary name and the key, then you should get the value. In our case, we provide Monday as the key. We should get the value 30.2. So if we run this cell, indeed we get 30.2. The dictionary that we have made here contains strings as the keys and numbers as the values. But the key value pair can be of almost any data type. And for example, you can have a string key value and a string value. For example, if you want to define whether a certain day was snowy or not snowy, then you can have this snow dictionary where you look up the day and you get whether the day was snowy or not snowy. So for example, we would like to find the Saturday and whether or not it was snowy or not snowy. Then we just provide the dictionary with the keyword, or the key, and we find that the value for Saturday key is no snow. The key can also be a numeric number, and the value may be a string. Like in this case, where we have a winners dictionary, where we are going to look up names given the position. So for example, we want to print first place goes to our winners dictionary place or key number 1. So if we run this, we get first place goes to Maria. The value in the key value pair can also be a list, which is a list of several like data entries or elements, as we say. And here we have a groups dictionary containing the key value pair for several groups. So the key is a group number, and the value is a list of the group members. So here we have defined our dictionary, and we would like to see the members in group number 3. So for example, we just print members in group, and we have to format the number. Group number is 3, and we add a colon, and then we have groups dictionary with the group number, which is 3. So here we provide the dictionary name and the key, and we get the value. So we would like to get John, Chang, and Lars. And indeed, we get members in group 3 is John, Chang, and Lars. We could also get a certain element in the list by using this structure. Here we get groups dictionaries with a group number, which is number 3. So we have the dictionary name, we give it the key, and we get the value. And this structure, this part of the structure, gives you the list, John, Chang, and Lars, and then you could look for the element at index number 2 in that list. So John is at index number 0, Chang is at index number 1, and Lars is at index number 2. So we would expect the third member in the group is Lars. You could have a tuple as a key value. So, and remember that tuples, they cannot be changed. So they are immutable. So we can use them as a key value. But you cannot use a list as a key value. So here we have our key or our keys, and here we have our values. So for a certain date, we get the specific weekday. So this dictionary is used to look up dates and get the corresponding weekday. So for example, we would like to get the value in our dictionary for key value February 8th, 2021, and that would be a Monday. And these dictionaries, they are super fast of looking up a key and getting the corresponding value. Much like if you have usernames as keys, then you can easily look up the password if the key value pair is username and password. And what's important is that dictionaries do not have an index. So if you try to access a certain element of the dictionary by using an index, then you would get an error message. So we cannot say that this element, this key value pair, is at index number 0, because in memory, Python stores these key value pairs not in order. So for example, if we go down here and we would like to print the date dictionary entry or element at index 0, then we get an error. And quite importantly, it is allowed, but do not call your dictionary for dictionary. Try to call your dictionary something which is relevant for what is stored in your dictionary. Why would you use a dictionary and not a list? Because we have seen that we can store data in lists quite easily. But dictionaries are a very good alternative when we would like to associate each item, which is the value, with an identifier, which is the key. So if we have one key we want to search through or search for, and a corresponding value to that key, then we should make a dictionary. And one of the greatest benefits of using dictionaries is that lookup is done by a hash table for dictionaries. Because when you search through a list, then you must, in the worst case, look through all entries one by one, and maybe what you're looking for is in the last position. And that is called ON complexity, because you might search through all N entries in the table or in the list. But when you look through a dictionary, then kind of you give the dictionary a key value, and then a hash table gives you the position of the corresponding key value pair in one step, which is O1 complexity. So for example, if speed is of the essence, then you should use a dictionary. So for example, if we store mean temperatures for a week, day by day, and create a program that asks the user for a day and then display the temperature for that day, then if we use lists, then we can store the daily temperatures in a list, and a list is defined by these square brackets, and we can just control enter that to run it, and we see that in daily temperatures list we have the daily temperatures. But if we would like to ask the user for a day of the week, we can ask the user by the input function and tell the user to either enter Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday through Sunday, one of these, and this string will be put in our day variable. And then we would have to check which day was entered, and we would have to display the result. So if we run this, well, we are like Sundays, and we get the average temperature was 34.0 degrees, which is the temperature for the last day of the week, which is Sunday. But here we had if the entered day was Monday, then we put the daily temps value at index number 0 into the temporary or the temp variable, if day does not contain Monday, then we run through this next test to check whether or not day contains Tuesday. And if it does, then we run this line of code, which puts the daily temps list value at index number 1 into the temp variable. So here we have an if statement going through all these steps, but with a dictionary we can get by with a lot less code and a lot faster code as well. So for example, we can store all the key value pairs in a dictionary, and if we run this, we see that we have stored all these key value pairs separated by comma in the daily temperatures dictionary. Then we can ask the user for a day of the week, put that in day, and this will be the key. And then we could place the temperature in our temp variable, and we would get the value by supplying the dictionary name and the key within these square brackets. Then we could easily print the average temperature was, and then we have to format the temperature variable, because it's a number, into a string. We do that with the format function. And the last string is degrees. So if we run this, we still like Sundays, and the average temperature was 28.8 degrees because we had defined that in our dictionary. Now you know what dictionaries are and why they are useful, and we can look at some common dictionary operations. So for example, you can define an empty dictionary just to make sure that your defined or your created variable is a dictionary variable. So we can define the contacts variable as a dictionary, and we can print the type of the contacts variable. And we see that it is of a class dictionary. And to this variable, to this dictionary variable, you can add items one by one by supplying the name of the dictionary and a new key value. And you also have to assign this key value with a value. So you get a key and a value pair. And you can do that one by one, adding information or adding entries to your dictionary. So here we would like to add 4 contacts to our dictionary and print the length of our dictionary, which is 4 because we have 4 entries in our dictionary, and we would like to print the dictionary itself. So now the contacts dictionary contains Fred, Mary, Bob, and Sarah as key values, and they all have their separate or unique values. These values, or these phone numbers in our case, they do not have to be unique. But the key values, the keys here, they have to be unique. Which means that there is only one Sarah, there is only one Bob, but they could have the same value. Another way to create a dictionary is to add items when the dictionary is created. For example, if you had all these entries in a text file, you could just read the text file directly into the contacts dictionary variables. And if we run this, we have contacts equals, and we have the entries here. But if you would like to test whether or not a key is present, then you could use the membership operator in. So for example, if the name is John, so we put the John string into our name variable, and then we could check whether or not John in contacts is true, but it's false because we do not have a John key in our contacts dictionary. So for example, we can use this to check whether or not we can find a key value pair in our dictionary. So for example, if we have Mary in our name string variable, then we can have this if sentence. So if Mary in contacts, so if this is true, then we run these 2 lines of code. If it's not true, then we run the else bit of code. So, but Mary should be in our contacts dictionary because we have Mary up here. And if so, then number variable should be equal to contacts name. So in contacts name would be contacts Mary, and we would get the value from the key value pair. So then we could just print the name is the name variable and phone number is the phone number variable. So let's check what we get. Well, when we look for Mary, then we have Mary in our contacts dictionary. So we print name is Mary and phone number is here. But if we have John, which is not in contacts, then we print, because this is false, John in contacts is false, then we print the else bit of the function, or the if statement. So then we get name, which is John. John is not in contacts. So we just Control Z here to get Mary back. And remember that dictionaries are mutable, which means you can change them. If immutable, if a variable is immutable, then you cannot change it. But dictionaries are mutable. So we can update the dictionary quite easily by just providing the dictionary name, a new key in square brackets, and a value. So in our case, we have added John to our dictionary. But what if we want to update the value corresponding to the key value John? Then we can just quite easily provide the dictionary name, the key, and a new value. So if we run that and print our contacts dictionary, then we see that we have updated John's number, or the value in this key value pair. And the key and value, they can also be provided by variables. So if we put our key, our string key, in the new key variable and our value in our new value variable, then we could just print, or we could just run contacts new key should be equal to new value. So now we have Bukayo in our contacts list as well. You can also remove any key value pairs using the pop function. So for example, contacts.pop takes in a key value, in this case Fred. Maybe he changed football clubs, but if we run contacts.pop Fred, then Fred is no longer in our contacts list, or dictionary, I mean. But if we try to remove a key value pair which is not in our dictionary, then we get an error. So for example, we try to remove the key value pair where the key is Sue, but we see here in our contacts dictionary that we do not have any Sue, then we get an error. So that's why it's a good idea to use the membership operator in to test whether or not a key value is in our dictionary. So for example, if Mary in contacts, and this is true because we know that Mary is in our contacts dictionary, then we should pop Mary out, which is we should remove the key value pair where the key is Mary. And then we print what's left in our contacts dictionary, and we get Bob, Sarah, John, and Bukayo. And we could also iterate over the items in a dictionary using a for loop. So for example, we could print my contacts, and for key in contacts, print key. And in this case, you get all the keys in your contacts dictionary. And if you would like to have both the key and value, then you should get the contacts.items and, well, or use the items function of the contacts dictionary. Then you could also print the value. And if we print just a string to separate our key value pairs, then we could run this and see that my contacts are Bob with this number, Sarah with this number, John with this number, and Bukayo with this number. And you can also sort the keys in alphabetical order. So for example, if we defined our contacts list as this, or contacts dictionary, as Fred, Mary, Bob, and Sarah, then for key in sorted contacts, then we can print the key over 10 spaces, we separate the key and the value with a colon in the space, and we print the value of the key value pair. So if you have contacts key, then you get the value for that key. So if we do this, Control Enter to run this code, we get Bob has this number, Fred has this number, Mary has this number, and Sarah has this number. We can also use the contacts items just to print the sequence of tuples that contain the keys and values of all the items in the dictionary. You can also just print pair by using the items function of the contacts dictionaries. Then you get all the key value pairs. So that's it for dictionaries, and see you next time.